Sway, what's popping? We need 200 likes, y'all. 200 likes. I really don't feel like dropping everybody down and shit like that. Let's get to 200 more likes. That's all we need, man. What's up, Sway? You know, we can't hear you, Art. Waited all that time to goddamn not have.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
We can't hear you. Try it again, and then what? Scam said he had a question anyway.
Hello.
There you go. What's popping?
What's up? If it goes out again, I'll just switch to my.
You sound like you're good now. Go ahead. What do you think?
No, I mean two things. I came up here to kind of just combat Sherelle just because that's my homie. But instead, y'all started talking about some other stuff. So I'll just start talking about what y'all just talked about. You were talking about men correcting women, and if just men in general doesn't matter. Just because he's a man, he has the right to correct women with that same thought process that he has an obligation to protect them if they were to seeing them in danger with another man.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think the same way women like to pick and choose, men like to pick and choose on when they want to be masculine or when society wants them to be masculine, I should say, because the idea of toxic masculinity existed and it wasn't men just shouting this. So even women pick and choose what masculine performance they want out of men in general, and they'll definitely take that correction. They'll definitely take, helping with a flat tire. They'll definitely take the pluses. But if it comes to the point where now we have to flip it and reflect on what they need to do differently, they don't need to hear shit from us. Granted, men have not been incentivized, at least these men today, to be quote unquote real men. So I don't even think a lot of them want to do it or even know how to be a quote unquote real men. The only men that I would judge in that situation for not going over the top in the terms of like protecting a woman or whatnot is that if he espouses to be a quote unquote real man, because then he has to live through and through. And if he's not doing that, then I can judge him for it. But I don't think most men even live up to what a real man is, have been incentivized.
What do you mean by real? What do you mean by real man, Sway?
Exactly. I know it's these concepts that we throw out there of what a real man is. And I think if you yourself is going to take that claim on, and we have the idea of the old past where you were the provider, protector, you looked after the community, you corrected women, this all in the third, then you have to do everything. You can't just pick and choose like, okay, I just want to get correction, but I don't want to protect her. I want my sisters to be virgin, but I'm willing to bust down the community. It's like you can't pick and choose on when you want to be a real man or not, and then not be judged for it. Now, if you just want to be some nigga, I don't give a fuck what you talking about, real man. I'm gonna live my life. I'm a grown ass man. I do what the fuck I want. Then that's different. Then at that point, I think a lot of men these days have subscribed to that because over their childhood into now, they have not been incentivized to be a man. They've said boys is wrong. Use telling women any type of correction. No, we've been told to be in our place and quote really not be a real man in a sense. So I think there's a lot of hypocrisy when we try to hold men to that standard, but in the same breath, the men themselves, they can't act like they have the ability to correct women just because they're a man if they ain't a quote unquote real man through and through.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So there's one, and then the one point you said that doesn't even reconcile because it's too convenience based for the women is because they'll call those traits when they don't like them toxic. Which is actually call them like the society, right? Which is a good reconciliation. It leaves a level of confusion to almost it's like what you said, nigga. I'm a grown up. I'm gonna protect when I want. I'm gonna do this when I want. Because trying to uphold all those tenets, they'll be called toxic. And then there's a lot of shit that you men don't even want to do.
And then the second thing to let before Scam go, they were talking about delivery. I addressed this when Trigger was on your show the other day when I was saying they not hearing you. Like he kept trying to think it was his tone. I'm like, nah, it ain't even just your tone. Women don't necessarily hear what you say. They interpret and feel what you say. Right. And so if they not interpreting or feeling what you're saying, that's why Sherelle keep highlighting you need to correct out of love. Because if you correcting me out of your own selfish desires for what you think I should be doing in my life, not asking me what do I want out of my life and trying to help me get there, and then kind of correct it throughout the thought process. Like, hey, this ain't really gonna work. Hey, this is kind of counterintuitive to what you really want at the end of the day. Like, that's a different conversation than say, hey, bitch, you need to be God fearing and you need to stay up the pole. Like, I'm pushing that. Now it feels like I'm pushing my ideals, my thoughts, my being onto you instead of listening to what you really want and then trying to guide you to a better path. You know what I mean? It's a different delivery. It's a different conversation. I ain't got shit to do with tone. It just got to do with really that intentions and how they feel about what you saying. Because we already acknowledge they care about feeling what you say rather than how you say it. Yeah.
That's what you said to Trigger 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah, the intentionality of it, right? You saying it to benefit them is different for I'm trying to get my shit off.
And I'm just trying to be right. I know I'm right, and you need to just listen to me. And
now, question though, him being right doesn't change regardless of his intention.
Nah,
so why can't it be heard?
My only problem with him was, are you getting the outcomes you want by doing that? And if the outcomes you want is to portray this message to them so they can go down the right path, and it's not getting that, why do you keep doing the same thing?
Okay.
Why do you keep delivering the same way, thinking you're going to get a different outcome for what? You got a far few in between, maybe some outliers that was kind of older and kind of maybe was already looking for a finding light, so they just gravitated to that. But like women my age that got life to live for and opportunity, you're not about to tell them what they need to do. You can hear what they want and guide them through it and call out the bullshit. But you're not about to tell them shit like they owe you something. They don't know you. So you
were doing so good. Then you
felt like that's good. Then you felt
Well, let me. I gotta. So I think Sway said a lot of
triggered. You don't listen.
Well, I think Sway said a lot that I want to have a dialogue on. The Scam been holding this question for an hour. I want to make sure you get to ask it, and I'm sure you're not gonna forget what Sway said. And knowing Sway, he don't mind saying that shit again. Go ahead, Scam.
Question, just for Hamp and Sherelle. Y'all show. It's a man and a woman. Over the course of life, what y'all seen around here in the world, what would you say is actually long-term effective correction and direction? Long-term. That is effective.
Correction.
And direction.
What you saying, either or?
Correction is correcting the behavior today. Direction is long-term. Correction short-term, direction is long-term.
You have to correct first, right? You got to get people in a place, to a place. So if their behaviors are poor, you have to get them out of that. Once people are willing to listen and learn, then you can direct them. So when I had little boy, and I use the coaching, right? Because it's easy.
Go to coaching. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. So the kids that come with bad attitudes from different programs, because there's a bunch of little league teams and they all pour into one school that got 7,000 kids, right? And so they come from different styles and circumstances. So I got to get them on one accord. So it's a whole lot of correction first. Once they get under my covering, then I give them direction. Boom, you do this, you do that, you do this. But if they don't conform first, they can't play for me. That's why the correction is needed initially.
So what I would say as a woman, how we receive it is the respect, the honesty, and the trust, right? So if we don't trust you, we're not going to take your advice, right? So if you're lying to us, you'll lose our trust. So because I know Sway loves me, right? Sometimes Sway tell me shit, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm like, but he has my best interest at heart because he cares about me. You see what I'm saying? He's not telling me anything to hurt me. But I know this because I grew up with a father. So my dad is not telling me anything to hurt me. Even when I don't want to hear it, what's going to override me not wanting to hear it because I'm not getting my way is the fact that I know I trust this man to have my best interest at heart. Because he doesn't lie to me. He is respectful. He's consistently showing me love and care. So of course I'm gonna consider what he's saying and see that through. And majority of women who know that they have men who trust will always say, I listen to my husband, I listen to my father, I listen to these men around me because I can trust them because they respect me, they're consistent.
So now Scam says correction or direction though. So where are you at? I understand that premise, but what do you think? Do they have an order? Which one is longer lasting? Can you have one without the other? What do you think about correction and direction?
I think you set the you should set the direction first.
Okay.
Because if a woman is dealing with a man, she's already accepted him as the leader, right? So he sets the direction. He corrects when she gets off path. She should when she signs up, she's already looking for a direction.
Okay.
So he directs first and then corrects when she gets off path.
I see it.
Yeah, as specifically, Hannah said, to make it simple. As specifically, because something Sherelle said a while ago, and I think they were talking about correction, and the person was being extremely judgmental and not trying to understand where people come from when they make bad behavior. They say, well, they need to do this, and talking down on them. And that causes more harm. Sometimes we got to get them with consequence them to death, it causes more harm on the long term. So sometimes it can correct. Like as a parent, you can grab a belt, you can smack them around, and correct the behavior today, but it'll cause you 3 or 4 different traumas down the line. And a lot of what we see is the aftermath of a lot of those traumas. And people say, let's go back to 1958 and repeat that behavior. We're talking about people who didn't have a voice, kids, no voice. And there's multiple different forms of trauma. It's not just one that we're seeing the aftermath of. 1958 created 2024. While we go back to the very things that create and put us in the same place today. But versus pick and choose the good stuff and throw the garbage away. Pick the good stuff in 2024, throw the other garbage away. But the thing with correction and direction, that direction is long term. And leadership is about efficiency, not always about the right or wrong, which you'll eventually get to the right. But if it's not efficient or effective, they're not going to pick that leader. Or one day, if it's like employment-wise, that leader ain't going to be there too much longer. Going to be up out of there because they're causing more harm than actual help.
Yeah. I think oftentimes when you hear correction scam, people assume it's punitive, right? And I know your premise also where you say like corporal punishment. A lot of us experienced it, and I don't know what we benefited from it. Niggas was still outside doing what they do, getting busy, and we was getting our asses whooped. Yeah, race car track. Y'all ever got hit with a race car track?
Luckily, I was just the belt.
Race car track, a cable cord. Yeah, man.
But when it stopped,
I had a goddamn knife thrown at me. Can't.
No.
Catch it.
One last point. One last point, Mike.
Go ahead.
Leaders are chosen because people, at the end of the day, we got choices. We get to choose who we're going to follow. That's all the way down to the kids. They going to choose. They going to open the door and you ain't going to be there. Men, women, everybody's going to choose behavior. They can choose their leaders. They choose who to follow and what behavior they're going to take place in. Absolutely. Most people follow who they know, who they like, who they trust, and who they believe to be some form of competent. With the exception of the traumas that drag them all the way off of that to follow anything. When they're actually looking for the correction, direction, whatever, they got to know you. They got to like you. They got to respect you. They got to trust you. And they need to believe in something. If it's a bigger cause, like a religion or a movement, they got to buy into that actual movement. Or they have to buy into you to say, you know what, if I'm rocking with this person, she gonna take me down the right path. If it ain't that, it's gonna be a dusted thought.
No. And that's what Sherelle said. Her assumption is a woman gets with a man or marries that man. She assumes that she's under his leadership, and therefore the direction is set and correction is given when needed. So I think I hear that. I see a correlation there. Yeah. I got Kasim and Callie in the back. Were you finished, Scam? Because I want to go back to what Sway said because it sounded like Kenny wanted to say something. Ali wanted to say something.
Last thing that I'm gonna drop off actually. Yeah. Promise it'll be last thing. This results thing, dangling results in the sky and say everybody follow me. Come on, man. It don't work. Half people don't believe you or the results anyway, think you lying. Or the results is today and tomorrow they're gonna fall all the way apart because the character and everything else is bad. But they're scam artists saying I got the money. Yeah, they got it, and some of it's gonna be yours. Or they're gonna be locked up 3 years from now. The other stuff in your character matters in the long term. That's all I got. Y'all have a good day.
Hey, Scam, be safe. Hey, you back in the house? You back in your house and all that?
Yeah, everything's good.
That's what's up, man. Good. No crazy damage.
No.
Damn, that's what's
Thank
up.
God.
Thank God.
Man, all praise. Oh, now y'all want to talk to God. I'll tell him y'all spoke. I talk to him. He can't hear y'all.